now joins the conversation. Tom, I was unaware that Will Rogers, he's third in the country right now in passing yards and has really been clicking as of late under Mike Leach. Based on the games you've watched and kind of diving into Mississippi State this week, what's the keys to stopping him similar to what they were able to do against KJ Costello last year?
Well, I just think KJ Costello wasn't quite ready to deal with the defense that Arkansas played. I mean, Bo Pelini and LSU, they were just super stubborn, and they played their man, and they got burned with it. And I don't think KJ Costello had the patience, and I'm sure they were counseling him on the sideline about, look, don't look at these routes, look at back over here. And it seems to me Will Rogers is very, very confident and happy with just doing the checkdowns, throwing the flares to the backs, throwing the little spot routes, and getting 4 yards, because it's just like a run for them. And he's just in the flow with their offense. So this is a different beast Arkansas is going to have to tackle this time. And they have to be great man-to-man tacklers. I mean, their nickel guys, Greg Brooks and Jaden Johnson, are going to have to be great tacklers in space. Their linebackers are going to have to diagnose and charge to the edges. This is going to be a tougher defend than it was last year. The good thing for the Razorbacks is it's at home. He does have some interceptions, so they've got to be able to confuse them a little bit, maybe get a little pressure, and force some mistakes out of them because they're in a groove right now.
Let's flip it to the other side in Arkansas's offense. It looks like Trey Knox, I can't remember if it was you or Nate Allen that asked the question. Trey Knox looks like he's going to be back. We'll see him in a little tight end. And Bryce Stevens, Coach Pittman was pretty honest and open yesterday that he's really emerged as that second guy in the slot. Outside of him mentioning that, Tom, were there any other roster and depth chart changes that you consider notable as of yesterday?
Well, and you guys have probably talked about Dominic Johnson. Looks like he might start, but we all know at the tailback position that there's so much rotation there that, I mean, Traylon Smith's still going to get his action. And that's just a position that if Arkansas can establish their rhythm in this game and convert third downs better, and they can run their tailbacks through, they can have fresh legs. And we saw what that did against Texas. So I think that's a huge key to this game. And Dominic Johnson's been running so hard, and he leads the SEC with 7.9 yards a carry. He's just been, I think on this roster, he and maybe a few other guys have just been the big discoveries of the year in what they've been able to do.
Yeah, you look at the stat comparisons in this game, Tom, and the one thing that really kind of jumps out is it's the number one passing offense with Mississippi State, number one in the SEC, number 5 in the country against Arkansas's passing defense, which ranks, I think probably surprisingly to some, number 2 in the SEC in passing defense for Arkansas. So who wins this battle?
Well, I don't know if there's going to be a clear-cut winner, but you expect Will Rogers to have a pretty hefty completion percentage as he did last week, but you'd like it to be a little lower. You'd like to get, maybe break on a few balls and get some pass breakups. I mean, every pass breakup you get, every drop pass, every time that you have to move Will Rogers off his spot is a small victory, and you just hope that you total up enough that you get them off the field enough times. I mean, they'll go on fourth down, but not quite like Ole Miss does on fourth downs. If you'll remember last year, I thought there was a couple times in the fourth quarter that Mike Leach should have kicked a field goal when they were down low, and then the touchdown after that would give you the lead. And he didn't do that, and it's kind of like Lane Kiffin against Auburn last week. They got in position a couple times to kick a field goal, and they didn't do it. So I know what the analytics say to you, but sometimes you just have to go by, if we kick this field goal and we make it, then a touchdown on our next possession would give us the lead. So the DBs have got to be ready. Here's where losing Jalen Catalon can hurt you a little. I think he had 13 tackles in this game last year, and I remember a couple times on some screens to backs where as soon as the backs caught the ball, he dropped them on the spot. And Myles Slusher has got to be able to, come close to that type of productivity, because if you read it 1 second too late or even a half second, instead of dropping him on the spot, that back gets 3 or 4 yards, that could be the difference in a bunch of different possessions.
I was just looking at Will Rogers' numbers, and I'm almost questioning if this is a season number or a career number. 436 passing attempts this year. Divide that by 8, guys. That's 54.5 a game. To put it in perspective, KJ Jefferson has 176. So, I mean, the numbers tell you they're going to pass 50 times. Now, that's not completions, that's attempts, but that's still 50-plus passes to defend in a ball game is what the numbers say Mississippi State will do, Tom.
It's just a lot of passes. And some of those are just little flares. I mean, they're basically running
handoffs, extended handoffs.
Yeah, exactly. They stand in the place for handoffs. They're just little. I mean, they run little tunnel screens. They run swing passes to the backs. It's just in lieu of a handoff in some of these cases. But they're going to throw it a ton, and they will be ready for the drop 8, and Will Rogers will know where to go with the ball. So Arkansas has got to mix it up. And quite frankly, this is a pretty decent Mississippi State offensive line, too. I mean, Arkansas has lacked a great pass rush for most of the last several games. Hopefully, a healthier Markel Lutzy, a healthier John Ridgway will help spur, the DNs being able to get into the backfield and put some pressure on Rogers.
Tom, a couple big headlines in college yesterday. Oklahoma State basketball banned from the postseason, and I know Mike Boyden went scorched earth on the NCAA yesterday. I don't wonder your perspective just with that happening. Why has LSU seemingly skate by? Maybe they haven't. Maybe something will come down. The hammer will come down on Wade and company. But why does it seem like the LSU basketball program gets away with virtually everything and continues to avoid punishment?
I really do not know the answer to that question. Perhaps they've surrounded themselves with the legalities of it all, and Will Wade, he even had times where he wasn't going to talk to the administration, and who would have ever thought that you could see that in college sports? But, there's assumptions based on that, all in that big-ass offer, but we don't know the exact details. So it has been dragging on. As the Auburn one, I think there's been some points of resolution to the Auburn one, but it just seems like coaches and agents put the lawyers on it and tithing whatever limbo that the NCAA teased. Ruling is a little bit surprising these days.
We brought this up, this forgotten that Buster Posey was a Florida State Seminole on that 09 trip that won and went down to Tallahassee, and he's expected today, according to The Athletic. Tom, he's a 7-time All-Star, a 3-time World Series champion. You're a baseball guy. Is he pretty much a lock in Cooperstown?
Well, I saw a lot of online speculation about this, and it's a poser, right? It's a real poser because he's only got something like 1,300 career at-bats, I think, or it could be games. But it's a low number in comparison to folks who make the Hall. Catcher's a different beast. He played on some great teams, and he was a great hitter and a great defender. It's a great poser, but I do think the factor that weighs in his favor is 3 World Series championships, and that might be enough to get him.
Yeah. All I remember is Andrew Darr hit an alley shot and walked off the Hogs to the College World Series, and Buster Posey's college career ended right there. That's the one thing I remember. And me and Bo Mattingly and Derek Ruskin had a pizza the size of your car hood across the street.
That's what I'm interested
I'm serious. We didn't. They made one about the size of your car hood at this pizza joint during that rain delay that we had down there. That's been a long time ago, but we drove all the way to Tallahassee to watch that.
Pizza joint, Tallahassee.
But I remember seeing Buster Posey. Everybody was talking about him then. This guy's going to be he's going to play for a long time in the bigs, and he sure did.
Uncle Mattios?
I don't know what it was called, but that's where we spent about a 3-hour rain delay where it wasn't raining. It was one of those deals. So.
Well, hey guys, I do believe Buster Posey is one of those guys who is all about the right things. You never heard his name associated with any kind of scandals. Just a good Georgia boy, and had himself a great career with the Giants. And I mean, honestly, one of the best.
Get some recruits on campus. Just maybe some final thoughts, and what do you think the outcome will be this weekend between the Hogs and the Dogs?
Yeah, just a real swing game for the Razorbacks, right? I mean, my gut is telling me this is going to be a hard win for the Razorbacks. So what I think needs to happen is I think their special teams have got to really show up, play well, maybe get a couple of takeaways, and they've got to be clean. I mean, they had 2 turnovers, I believe it was, against UAPB. So I don't know. I think the home crowd is going to be a difference maker. They can sense what's ahead of them, because if you beat Mississippi State, I think that puts you in the CFP rankings the next week, because the committee's so to it at number 17. So I'm going to say a tight win for the Razorbacks, and we see them in the CFP rankings next week.
Hard to have an average season if you go less than 2-3 against the M schools on the schedule. So you've already lost to Ole Miss. You just got to win the games against Mississippi State. You've got to win your home games against Mississippi State, Missouri, to just kind of rise to an average SEC season right now.
Absolutely. I mean, right now, the truth of it is we know they're a better team. We know they're a better program. They have greater belief, but they are in last place by themselves in the SEC West. If you don't win this game, how are you going to get out of there? You got to win it, and then win a couple more, and then perhaps you've nosed yourself ahead of them. Perhaps you've nosed ahead of LSU or somebody. But this is the toughest run in all of college football. I would say in all of college sports, it's the toughest regular season. And the Razorbacks, they're better, but how much better, we're going to find out these next 4.
All right, Tom, we'll break it all down on Monday and recap the game with you then.
Sounds good. Y'all have a great weekend.
Right.
Go Braves.
There you go, too. I would love to be at a parade in Atlanta for the Braves. Joins us here on the Morning
Back
Line.
and better than ever. A new web interface to start the basketball season, and more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline remains your #1 spot for all basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV50 to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, and baseball postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.